So in the previous video we saw the basic tools to make a cube and then extruded this little nub over here just with the normal extrude boss slash base function. In this part of the video I will explain the different features here and show you examples of what you can do. Now you have the extruded boss or base as we saw before. This will allow you to extrude any sketch, as it says there, to any distance, to any surface or other features on your component. The opposite of this is to extrude a cut, and that's what I'll show you right now. This is so if I want to make a hole going through the entire thing or an impression, I can use the extruded cut. But of course, like anything, we have to start off with a sketch. So we're going to go on sketch again, press the toggle sketch here, click on the surface. I'm going to choose this surface to make. I'm going to make a square hole that goes all the way through. So I'll click that. We're going to go to our rectangle tool again. Actually, let's explore the circle tool now. This will draw a circle of any radius slash diameter as long as the center point is defined. So I'm going to click wherever you want, and as you see from the center it's drawing out, and click anywhere, it doesn't really matter, and we're going to define our radius or diameter as 10 with the diameter being 20. Press enter, and this now has a radius of 10 and diameter of 20, as you can see with that line. Now the sketch is done. I want a hole, a round circular hole going all the way through, coming out the other end, so this is technically hollow. I'll go back into features, from sketch to features. I'll go to extruded cut, and as you can see it already says from blind, but because I wanted to do it up to a surface and I may not know what the length to that surface is, I'll go up to surface with this toggle here and click the surface I want to be flush with and click the tick, and as you can see we have this beautiful hollow hole. Like I showed in the extruded boss slash base, the blind function, which I'll do again here, I'll create a new sketch. So create another circle here. Now the blind function in the extruded cut will mean that I can create a small impression and it doesn't have to go all the way through. So if I only wanted to go, let's say 40 millimeters in, I'll write 40 here, millimeters, enter, and as you can see here it only goes in 40. So that's the extruded cut. The next what we're going to look at is a fillet here. So when you click this down arrow you'll have two options. You'll have fillet and a chamfer. Both do the same thing slightly differently. A chamfer will add a straight edge to your angles such as this line here, the orange one that I'm showing. You'll add a straight edge, whereas the fillet will add a radius to it. This has many uses. Usually I personally like to use a chamfer for something I want to look aesthetically nice, whereas a fillet may be something that I want to have a friction fit in, especially for 3D printing. Fillet is very useful because it rounds off the edges and it allows everything to fit nicely in. So exploring fillet first, all we're going to go is on fillet. Now depending on the graphics card that you have on your computer, you can choose one of three options. Because I have a 4070, I will be clicking the full preview. But of course if you have integrated graphics or have a lower end graphics card, you may want to go for full partial preview or no preview. The no preview is harder to work with because you don't have an intuition of what you're doing. But right now, to show you, I'll go into full preview. We're going to avoid these selections here, and we're going to go click an edge we want to fillet. I want to fillet this edge, and as you can see, we can already understand what it's going to do to our shape. Now the radius determines the size, so if I go to the down, if I click 5 millimeters, it will have a smaller chunk cut off from our main product, and if I have a very large one, let's say 20, it will be a very, very large radius. This is useful for different things. Of course, if you're just doing it for aesthetics, then choose the size you want. Otherwise, make sure you have the same values for all your parts that have to fit together so that they are snug and tight. Right now, I want to go with the default 10 millimeters. Press enter. I get that full preview. Just to show you what the partial preview looks like. It looks like this, and then the no preview is just that. You don't get the preview of what will happen. I'm going to go full preview again. I'm going to click done, and that is what has happened to our edge. You can see the differences with all the. Actually, let's go to this edge. You can see the difference between this side and that side. This one's 90 degrees. This has a radius. With this edge, let's add a chamfer. We're going to go to the fillet section here. Go down. Go to chamfer. Click the edge. And already you can see how it looks, but leave it at 10 to give a, so you can see 10 here with my mouse. You can leave, I'm going to leave that there so you can see the difference between the chamfer and fillet. You go there again, and you can see the difference. Personally, just as an aesthetics point, I like chamfers. This is a very heavy one. I would go for like 2 millimeters on a product like this if I was 3D printing it, or even machining this. But sometimes, and some people like to have fillets rather than chamfers. So that's that tool. For the other pattern, for the other functions, we will have to go onto a new project. So let's save this file. We're going to go onto File. So I've saved it, Control S. I'm going to go to File, New. Let's go to a new part. Now, like anything, not like anything, we're going to start off learn what the revolved base / boss is. This basically is an extrusion around a axis. So just to give you an example, I'm going to create a sketch on the front plane this time. It doesn't really matter for what we're doing here. I'll show you where it does matter in a later video. We're going to create a random rectangle of unknown dimensions. It doesn't really matter for this demonstration. Of course, if you're doing something interesting, by all means have as many restraints and dimensions as you want. We're going to click on that Twitter button here. We're going to go to from sketch to features, revolved boss / base. It's already selected. And then, because it's already selected, we're going to go to axis of revolution. Make sure that this is blue. Click the axis that we want. I've just going to choose this. If you do it really advanced, you might have to create your own axis. I'll show you that in a second for a different product. But I'm just going to click this here, and as you see, it just creates a disk. Now, why would you want to create this? I'll give you an example here. I'll do a quick build. Let's go back to our sketch. Just pressing Ctrl Z. I'm going to draw an abstract shape, let's say this, just using the line function here. There's a new function that we're talking about. A new function here, line. So I've created a 90-degree angle. Let's go create a trapezium shape, and instead of closing it off, let's go here, here. I'm just putting some random points in here, and there you go. That is your new shape, and what we're going to do is click the Twitter button there, go to revolved boss / base, Okay, so because this is such a complicated one, I want a flat surface here. So to learn SolidWorks, the best thing to do is just try and just experiment with it. Don't get scared on how it looks. Just experiment on how it works, and you'll understand it very easily, very fast. It's not a hard software to learn. But as you can see, this shape, which I now realize looks like kind of a diamond, is revolved around this axis here. If I unselect that and I choose a different axis, it will look different. I can unselect that, choose this one, unselect that, choose this one. It will spin around that and create a solid object. I actually liked how this looked. I thought it looks cool. And this looks so cool. So we're going to click the tick button here, and as you can see, it revolved and created a solid object as it comes around, creating this interesting shape over here. Really simple tool, very useful tool if you want to create a round object in a weird shape like this. Creating this with a sketch and doing different advanced techniques will take a lot more time and a lot more effort than just doing a revolved boss/base. So the rest of these smaller ones I'll come back to in a later video, but otherwise these are the main few ones that you're going to use in everyday SolidWorks life. Extruded boss/base, revolved boss/base, extruded cut, and fillet. In the next video I'm going to talk about the swept boss, lofted boss, linear pattern, and the lofted cut. But otherwise, these the first part and the second part are the real main basics. If you haven't watched the first part, go watch it, because it's a prerequisite to this video. It's only 10 minutes long. I like to keep it this length, and I think we're 2 minutes over, so see you next time.